taken off the court in Kansas City, and their season stopped. Texas Tech's Red Raiders are ready to play again as basketball returns. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the United Supermarkets Arena in Lubbock. I'm John Harris, joined by Chris Level. Northwestern State of Louisiana visits tonight, and with all of their recent basketball success, Texas Tech fans have been waiting for this night. Chris, a lot of anticipation because Chris Beard feels like he's got a team that can be very, very good.
Yeah, John, first of all, you're just glad that you made it this far, that they're going to play some basketball tonight, but I know Chris is really excited to see his kids play. This is a very athletic group. They come in with a nice ranking in front of them based on some of the transfers and some of the new pieces, and they feel like they shoot it very, very well. We will find out shortly.
Chris Beard has certainly been very optimistic leading up to this season about what his team can accomplish. And across the way, Mike McConaughey has a team that finished strong last season and thinks that they have added pieces as well that can help them in what is his 22nd year there at Northwestern State of Louisiana.
Well, and this is Northwestern State's first essentially athletic event since they finished up in their conference tournament last year in last March. So they're not playing any football in the fall, and so you know the Demon fans back in Natchitoches, Louisiana, excited to watch their group play, and Coach McConaughey does a great job. 22nd season, looking forward to watching his group go at it tonight against Chris Beard's guys.
Marcos Santos Silva for the Red Raiders, one of their newcomers, Jamari Gregg for Northwestern State, and the Demons control the opening tip-off. We are underway in Lubbock. Boy, not much time wasted at all. Jairus Roberson from the corner can't get the three to go, and the Red Raiders on offense for the first time. Kyler Edwards, lob pass inside to Shannon, who tipped that ball over to Santos Silva, but a foul underneath.
Yeah, you're looking for a little lob pass right there on the back screen to Terrence Shannon. Foul right there. I think Jamari Gregg picks up a quick one, and that's big for Northwestern State. He's a guy that can battle athletically on the boards and otherwise against Texas Tech. So you need to keep him out of foul trouble if you're Northwestern State.
Shot long for Shannon. Santos Silva ran it down, and that pass tipped off the hands of Shannon, and Red Raiders have turned it over.
Yeah, and I think you see Santos Silva being very vocal right there. He's Big 12 Newcomer of the Year, thought to be a new piece on this Red Raider team, but he's come in and taken that vocal role. Wanted to see, I think, Terrence Shannon kind of cut to the basket, so he didn't have to make such a long pass.
Quick hands of Kyler Edwards.
I like Santos Silva, though, John. I mean, he's somebody that I think there are a lot of expectations for, and not just around this program, but in the Big 12 in general.
Northwestern State with Jones, Roberson, Massner, Gregg, and Dalen Williams in their starting lineup tonight. Williams against the Red Raiders a couple of years ago might have played the best game of his career, not against a Red Raider team that wound up in the championship game of the NCAA tournament.
And John, they're old. I mean, you see three seniors, two juniors in the starting lineup. They've got more upperclassmen where that came from, and Coach McConaughey brings a very old team into Lubbock, and that's what, if you're Texas Tech, you're a little leery of, with a lot of new pieces and just the one senior on your team.
Mac McClung, a newcomer for the Red Raiders, transfer from Georgetown. Terrence Shannon, Micah Peavy is a true freshman. Kyler Edwards returns, and Marcos Santos Silva from Virginia Commonwealth now with the Red Raiders. Here's Shannon again, free throw line jumper, rolls around and out of there. But Micah Peavy underneath to get it, and the Red Raiders are on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Micah Peavy getting the start here as a true freshman. Not easy to do under Chris Beard, but boy, talk about a heralded freshman with a unbelievable high school career there in Duncanville, coached by his dad. And then you see Santos Silva get on the floor. That's what they preach here. Don't ever bend over to pick up a basketball on the basketball court if you're coached by Chris Beard. Jump on it.
Yeah, better get down on it quickly. McClung, nice look inside to Kyler Edwards, who scores. And interesting story there. Kyler Edwards was, throughout his Red Raider career, had worn number 0, but gave that up to the transfer McClung. Said he just wants to be a teammate to help this team win, and Demons are going to the line, chance at a 3-point play.
Yeah, C.J. Jones, nice pull-up right there. There's Shannon with, looked like got him on the right wrist, maybe it looked like. Yeah, it's gonna bring Jamarius Burton in, another transfer.
He's from Wichita State. Jones, a senior out of Monroe, Louisiana, an 82% free throw shooter a year ago, converts the 3-point play. And
C.J. Jones, John, he's not necessarily looking to, hunting that shot. He's pass first, point guard, but nice pull up there. And then you see Mac McClung. Speaking of transfers, Georgetown transfer right there, and boy, he will excite the fans in Lubbock this season. Got a lot of confidence in that young man.
Led Georgetown in scoring a year ago at just over 15 points a ball game. Hit 31 threes. That's his first as a Red Raider. Trenton Massner inside, Dalen Williams left-hander, and he gets it to go.
And you see that's going to be one of the Red Raiders' weaknesses this season, it appears, is that not much rim protection. You try to beat them in the paint, and you get an easy bucket right there if you're Northwestern State. And Peavy with another putback.
Peavy's got a couple of buckets for the Red Raiders and has not been far from it each time he's gone up to score. And there's the strength of Santos Silva on the boards. Red Raiders have 5 players on this roster that either here or at their previous school that all averaged in double figures a year ago. Santos Silva, one of those, Burton another, McClung, Kyler Edwards right here with the Red Raiders, and Joel and Tomboy 2 years ago at Nevada, Las Vegas. So some guys that can score. And some new faces off that bench for Chris Beard. Here's Namari Burnett, a 5-star recruit out of Chicago, a McDonald's All-American, the first ever for the Red Raiders. Wears number 25.
Yeah, and you're curious with no, there's Jairus Roberson with a corner 3, but you're curious what the rotations will look like and everything like that, because these teams have had no exhibitions, no secret scrimmage, nothing like that. So this is the first look at outside competition, and these coaches are going to kind of experiment a little bit and just having to go with some assumptions based on how they think things will look. Fast pace of this game too, John.
Boy, nice play inside by Massner, but as it turns out, the Demons can't convert on that penetration. Here's Edwards. Namari Burnett on the baseline, got trapped there, left it though for Shannon, who's coming from the opposite side to score for the Red Raiders, who now lead by 3.
That baseline cutter right there, finishes at the rim with his left hand. A couple of two young men that spent a lot of time growing up in Chicago. Burnett right there to Terrence Shannon on the other end.
Massner, pretty good 3-point shooter. The Red Raiders aren't going to leave him there alone. Over Edwards, Rainbow off the mark, and Shannon's got the rebound.
Yeah, I don't think Coach McConaughey liked that shot.
Edwards can't get it to fall. That's Jovan Zelen-Baba. Jairus Roberson on the baseline, not there. Silva, another rebound for Chris Beard's Red Raiders. Picked 5th in the preseason coaches poll in the Big 12. Everybody in that top 5 nationally ranked to start the year. Edwards was posted down low, got it back to Shannon, fouled by Williams, and he'll be at the free throw line.
Boy, it's a nice pass by Kyler Edwards. If he catches that clean, that's an and-1 opportunity right there.
Red Raiders lead it here in the early going by 3. It's 11-8 over Northwestern State. You're watching Big 12 basketball on ESPN+. Red Raiders have made 5 of their first 10 shots. Northwestern State 3 of 9. And while Northwestern State is without one of their roster members, Jordan Potts, Chris, the Red Raiders are missing a couple of guys.
Yeah, you see Kevin McCullough right there, who arguably was your best player down the stretch last season for Texas Tech, and got a boot on, and he's going to be out for a bit. No official word from Texas Tech on that. And then you've also, we won't see Vladislav Goldin, the young Russian 7-footer. He is unavailable. He's got a brace on that left wrist of his. So, yeah, that seems to be the story of the season. This, in whatever sport, is who's available, who's not. But these are just good old-fashioned basketball injuries, it appears, unfortunately.
Shannon 1 of 2 at the free throw line for the Red Raiders, who have a 4-point advantage. Jairus Roberson doing all he can to get inside, and it pays off.
And John, without McCullough and then Goldin though available, I mean, you're not real big. I mean, you're not, again, Mac is Kevin McCullough is somebody that can guard various positions on the floor, and again, he's going to draw some charges and different things like that. And then Goldin, clearly your tallest guy.
Larry Owens off that Northwestern State bench for Mike McConaughey, and a little too much there by Brian White.
Yeah, he pushed off. But boy, I tell you what, the secondary break for Northwestern State, they get the ball up the floor in a hurry. Want to get a shot up. It's a team that likes to shoot the three. Averaged about 8 threes a game last year.
And I'll tell you what, they have already equaled their field goal made total of the game here 2 years ago. They were 4 of 27 in the first half of that game, and who knew that Red Raiders team would play on the final Monday of the season in Minneapolis. But the Demons playing this one closer at this point, down by 2. Edwards from the corner, time running down on that shot clock, and delivers the 3.
Yeah, that's just Kyler Edwards making a play right there. And again, not a lot of post touches for this Red Raider team in that offensive set, but settling for some perimeter looks. Santos Silva on the floor as he's about to check in. But I mean, your tallest guy, Joel Ntambwe, he goes what, 6'7"? But boy, you can see the athleticism, the depth on the wings, and
Mike McConaughey has been at it for a while there, one of only 2 current coaches in college basketball to have won more than 300 games at a couple of different institutions, Northwestern State and Bossier Parish Community College.
And you say the word institution, I mean, that's what he is in the state of Louisiana from a basketball standpoint.
Great respect from the Red Raiders. Chris Beard, Marcos Santos Silva. Left-handed turnaround from Jamarius Burton. That is tough to defend.
Yeah, you can't guard that. Jump hook, left hand.
This will be an offensive foul on Jairus, who turns and gets the elbow into Mac McClung. McClung, Chris, one of those guys that looks like he'll get up on you and defend you.
Yeah, he's maybe going to have something to say to you a little bit. He just lots of confidence in Mac McClung, and obviously he's got the big social media following and so many of those highlight dunks and things like that he's known for. He will have the Red Raider fans out of their seats much of this season. You would certainly guess. Texas Tech up 7 here early, though.
Well, you can join the Red Raider football team for their next game. That comes up this Saturday, November 28th, as they'll travel to Stillwater to take on the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Kickoff there in Stillwater is at 11 o'clock Saturday morning. You can check local listings for more information. Red Raiders try to extend a winning streak there against Oklahoma State.
3 in a row against the Cowboys, certainly. Matt Wells' team coming off of a win and their 3rd bye week of the season.
Chris, the officials today, Kelly Self, Chance Moore, Kirby Sitton, taking a look at that Jairus Roberson play in the corner with the contact with the Red Raiders' Max McClung.
Yeah, and these officials, like the rest of us, just dealing with lots of, the protocols and just the oddness. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but of what we're all dealing with, especially in this sport. And even had some games canceled today. We have a bit of a, well,
McClung headed to the free throw line. No explanation, but a flagrant one is the call. And McClung, an 80% free throw shooter, steps to the line to make that first shot. McConaughey still questioning the officials across the way about their decision. And the Red Raiders will have the basketball as well.
It was an offensive foul on the other end of the floor, and I guess above the, they deemed it above the shoulders because that, yeah, you get 2 free throws on the ball. Missed the flagrant one part, but allows the Red Raiders to stretch out their lead to 9. And Coach McConaughey not real happy.
Red Raiders have Micah Peavy, Jamarius Burton on the court, along with Marcos Santos Silva, Kyler Edwards, and Max McClung. This is Carvel Tisit defending Burton out front. First time we've seen him in the game for the Demons, and Burton's going to try and get inside, use his strength, and off the front of the rim. And Brian White trying to get out of there with the ball for Northwestern State, only 5'6". Hometown kid out of Natchitoches.
The home of the world famous meat pie. You ever had a meat pie, John?
I remember that discussion from 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. Natchitoches, they do it right there, man. Should have had Coach McConaughey bring us some.
Well, there's what McClung can do for you. And he's going to get the left-handed runner.
Yeah, you're going to have to live with some of that. He can certainly go one-on-one. All those won't go in, but yeah, he kind of they put you in a blender.
Larry Owens turned that one over. Edwards behind the back. Micah Peavy has scored again. He's got 6 in this game.
Yeah, Coach McConaughey wants to talk about it right now.
Larry Owens turned it over on one end for Northwestern State, and the Red Raiders are scoring at the other, and they've extended their lead to 13. You're watching Big 12 basketball here on ESPN+. United Supermarkets Arena in Lubbock. Red Raiders on a 14-2 run to open up a 13-point advantage. Chris, what does Chris Beard's team need to continue doing well to win this ball game?
Well, you know, if the things that you do when you try to pull off an upset, you need to knock down some threes, and you need to be able to rebound and create some second chance opportunities for yourself. And if you're Northwestern State here, you see to maybe cut into this lead a little bit, stop this run, hit a three. And if Texas Tech, it's all about defending the perimeter, which you see right there, and that's exactly what the Demons get done right there. Is see what Terrence Reed coming off the bench and then knocking down one from the wing.
Got left alone out there. Nice look by Peavy inside, and that's Tyreek Smith. There's another Red Raider who's been around for a while, but did not get to play last season. Missed all of that year with an injury.
Yeah, I think it was very frustrating for Chris Beard to see Joel and Tomway and Tyreek Smith not be able to be a part of last year's team, as those are two pieces that would have absolutely helped a team that needed every bit of depth and size they could get. And obviously Tyreek got hurt and just couldn't get back as he knocks down the free throw right there. But he's certainly going to do some things defensively, kind of play above the rim for Chris Beard this year.
Hometown is Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Played at Trinity Christian High School in Dallas, where he was the TAPS Player of the Year in the state as a junior. A lot of potential there. Zelen Baba on the baseline, threw it away. McClung took it from him, and the Red Raiders are going to run. Boy, Micah Peavy's having a night on the drive, handed that off to Smith, and finishes with the dunk.
Well, it's just unselfishness. You see Mac McClung penetrate, kick, and then Micah Peavy does the same thing, and it equals an easy layup right there. And now you got a charge drawn on the other end, and Micah Peavy.
Micah Peavy's having a pretty good start in this ball game. That's a nice handoff to Smith underneath, and I thought Micah Peavy was going to draw the charge and get on the Red Raiders charge board, but that is not the case.
Okay, well, we saw it. They're discussing it right now. The Chance Moore and Kelly Self kind of having a conversation. Yeah, I saw it like you did. I thought that they had called a charge. Now they're trying to determine if the basket is good or not.
I believe they are saying it is.
Yeah, Brian White going to be at the free throw line with an and one opportunity.
Pretty good free throw shooter at 88% a year ago.
Brian White looks like he'd be a guy you'd want to hand the ball off to on 3rd and 6 on a draw play, and he'd get you about 12 yards the way he's built. Yeah, a little late. PB getting over there a little bit late, maybe stepped over just a titch.
Can't convert the three-point play, and the Red Raiders are back on offense. Amari Burnett is in along with Ntombwe, the Red Raider transfer from Nevada, Las Vegas.
And that's what, like you see Mac McClung with the previous possession with that penetration. He had to do everything at Georgetown. Volume shooter, had to create, had to really carry the burden there. He's got so much around him here. He can afford to be unselfish, and I think that's what Chris Beard and staff would love to see that from him. Is he can create. He can create, but he also can set some things up for others as well, and gets beat on the glass right there with a foul. Kendall Coleman going to go to the line.
True freshman, and I love this high school, Chris. Captain Shreve High School in Shreveport. Known more as a defensive player coming out of high school, but a nice job on the glass there.
Yeah, Mac McClung, that's the one thing he can do. He can jump. He got right up there with Kendall Coleman, but got him with the body going up out. I wonder what Captain Shreve, I wonder what their mascot is. that would really tell the tale on how cool that high school name would be if they had a great mascot name that went with it.
Well, McClung's got a quick trigger, and Ntombwe trying to save it and did back out to Kyler Edwards. Shannon in the corner, Long on the 3, and Trenton Massner out of there for the Demons.
Yeah, and that's something that Terrence Shannon has got to be better with his outside shot. And that shot will certainly play in the film room and otherwise.
But high percentage.
Yeah, if he can extend his range though. This is what the folks at the next level want to see from Terrence Shannon. He can defend. He's got the athleticism and the measurables, but he's got to be able to create some mid-range and knock down looks right there. As you see Jamari Gregg kind of face up and knock one down right there. That's what you want to see from Terrence Shannon on the other end if you're the Texas Tech coaches.
Red Raiders concerned about the athletic ability of Jamari Gregg. Had 10 double-doubles for Northwestern State last season. Gets them within 8. McClung's open on the look there from outside the arc. Not good, and Gregg has the rebound.
Yeah, Jamari Gregg with the goggles, man. Let's see, Horace Grant.
Oh.
And he banks one in. Kareem, James Worthy.
Those are some
Kurt Rambis.
Pretty nice comparisons. Boy, Jamarius Burton gets loose underneath. Edwards the assist.
Great basket cut right there for Jamarius Burton right there. And that's a young man, John, he wasn't even really expecting to play this year. Dropped about 15, 16 pounds and has really got himself right and is playing now and in a key role for this Red Raider team. And the thought was he was going to come here in redshirt, but this year of eligibility doesn't really count, so they're turning him loose.
A little bit of range there by Terrence Shannon. Lefty gets the jumper. Red Raiders back up by 10.
And Terrence had really worked on that in the offseason, and you see that work right there. That's something he knew he needed to get better at, and that allows him to play more minutes.
Red Raiders off and running again. Northwestern State looks like they need a timeout, and Mike McConaughey's going to get one. Red Raiders on the run again, now by 12 with just under 8 minutes to go here in the first half. You're watching Big 12 basketball right here on ESPN+. Raiders on another run right now, 6-0 over Northwestern State, lead by 12, just under 8 minutes remaining here in the first half as the Red Raiders of Northwestern State open up their college basketball season. Terrence Shannon playing his 30th game tonight as a Red Raider, Chris. This is a highlight moment.
Yeah, he gets that run out right there, and the tomahawk with that left hand. Then comes back, and I think most importantly, if you're Texas Tech, you like seeing him hit that face-up jumper a couple possessions later.
Demons get Dalen Williams off the bench, go right to him inside, and the West Texas high school product able to get on the scoreboard. Played at Stinnett, West Texas, a couple of hours away from Lubbock.
What, about 200 miles?
Yeah, in that vicinity.
Played a good game here a couple of years ago, did Dalen Williams, in this very building.
Santos Silva can't get the follow to go, and now the Demons have a wide open look on the edge, and C.J. Jones comes up short on the three. Here's Clarence Nadolny in for Chris Beard now. Red Raider sophomore out of France. Certainly an international flavor on the Red Raiders and Northwestern State as well.
And that's, you know, C.J. Jones on the other end. You want to run that secondary break. As you see the nice feed right there by Clarence Nadolny. But C.J. Jones, he only made 3 threes last year, John. So I don't know if that's what, you know, when you the pitch ahead and that secondary break, you're trying to get the ball down the floor. If that's what Coach McConaughey wants out of his team. He's typically, I think, thought of as a pass-first point guard, but looking for his three-point shot early here.
Hard to resist, wide open.
Yeah, that's.
Silva good there. It's got 4 for the Red Raiders.
Yeah, and Silva, he could make a living at the free throw line. A soft press right here from Texas Tech, but Silva's a walking double-double.
McClung and Shannon each with 7 to lead the Red Raiders. Jairus Roberson's got 5 for Northwestern State. Shot clock is under 10. Long 3 on the way by Roberson, and he'll pick up the foul there outside the three-point arc. Nadolny, I believe, the guilty Red Raider.
Yep, got him on the wrist. Bail him out. And I mean, Jairus Roberson, he is a gunner. He is not looking to pass. He is looking for his shot. He is instant offense. See right there, made 83s last year. John, he attempted 16 threes in a game last year. I mean, that is more than a lot of teams are going to get up in a 40-minute game right there. And he has certainly got the green light from his coach.
80 made threes more than any Red Raider made a year ago.
That's right. You had a couple of really, really good ones, and Davide Moretti and Jemias Ramsey, your 2 top scorers and three-point shooters from last year, no longer on the team, both playing professionally. Jemias drafted about a week ago by the Sacramento Kings, and Davide Moretti playing professionally over in Italy.
The only Red Raider to start every game last season, and it's just odd not seeing Davide Moretti on the court for the Red Raiders, who meant so much to this team in a couple of big NCAA runs.
Yeah, won more games in his 3 years than I think anybody ever in the history of the program, certainly. Especially NCAA tournament games.
Yeah, the Red Raiders awfully good there, but got to the Elite 8 and that championship game. Here's Mac McClung out front, 6 on that shot clock, looking to create, and does. Delivers.
Well, there's not a whole lot you can do about that. He had Avery Benson over in the wing, but took the shot himself. But that mid-range game right there, that's tough to defend when you're that quick off the dribble.
How about this from Jabari Gregg? His three's not there, though, and here's Avery Benson. He's going to go right inside and get fouled. Or Doc Holliday.
I was about to say,
which.
Is that? Yeah, like he's got some new ink, it looks like he's right out of Tombstone. Yeah, and speaking of experienced players, you know, you talk about all these transfers and these new pieces and these talented freshmen, but Chris Beard certainly thinks a lot of the young man at the free throw line right now, and Avery Benson, the lefty, who's maybe played more games for Chris Beard than anybody. You know, this is his 4th year in this program, and obviously Kyler Edwards, another one that's played a ton as well. But Avery Benson, you know, I think wants to be the hardest playing, you know, guy on the court anytime he's on the floor. Had that unbelievable game and helped the Red Raiders upset Louisville at Madison Square Garden last year in December.
Wow, and last year didn't miss a free throw until near the end of the season and steps up here early and can't get a pair, but he'll get another opportunity.
Yeah, lane violation.
But yeah, at that game at Madison Square Garden against Louisville, 10 points, but he was 3 of 3 from the field. He was hit a three-pointer, perfect at the free throw line that game. And just he had a couple of block shots where he came from nowhere to prevent the Cardinals from scoring, and Red Raiders won by 13 over the then #1 team in the nation in a huge spotlight at the Garden. So,
and that was you know, such a big win for that team because Jamias Ramsey had gotten hurt over the Thanksgiving holidays about a year ago, and you know, you're without him there, and they pulled that thing off, and that was much needed at the time.
Roberson from downtown not there, and here's Micah Peavy, who has played really well. That's his first miss of his Red Raider career. 3 of 3 with 6 before that one didn't go. Trenton Massner has been very quiet for Northwestern State. High arcing shot not there. Peavy's got the rebound.
Yeah, Trenton Massner, one of the Demons' best players, certainly on the offensive end, but the athleticism and the length on the wing of Texas Tech certainly given Mr. Massner that. I mean, he hadn't really many good looks at all, John.
Red Raiders relatively small with this lineup, but awfully quick with Burton, McClung, and Edwards at guard. Terrence Shannon forward, and Micah Peavy, the true freshman. Boy, Edwards found an opening and just went right inside. Got Massner turned and looking the other way and drove him right inside. 2 years ago, the Red Raiders led this game 53-10 at halftime. Won't be quite that advantage here, but Shannon on what would have been a dunk or a layup.
When you see the steal on the other end, it's a high pick and roll. It's a high pick and roll. Terrence Shannon read the roll up right there, and he knew what was coming and just couldn't finish. And Dalen Williams with a bit of a open field tackle.
Dalen, the young man we talked about earlier, who against the Red Raiders a couple of years ago played 24 minutes, had 9 in that ball game and 6 rebounds. Terrence good on the initial free throw. Dalen will sit down. Larry Owens in for Mike McConaughey. Red Raiders making some changes as well. Joel Intambwe and Marcus Santos Silva in for Peavy. Namari Burnett will wait.
Boy, when you talk about big games last year, you know, Terrence Shannon up in Chicago, his hometown. Red Raiders are up there playing DePaul, and boy, he kept the Red Raiders in that game and gave them a chance to win it before dropping a close one in overtime.
And you're talking about that's the period of time when Jamias Ramsey was out, and you lost 3 games, and they were close. And then you go to Madison Square Garden to play the #1 team in the nation, and you really worry about that one. And the Red Raiders played remarkably well. Here's Massner underneath from Big Larry. Got him the basketball, and Massner's on the board.
Yeah, and with a baseline cut right there from Massner. That's a good look, and get him more involved. Can cut back into this lead. Get him some touches every time down if you're the Demons.
Burnett got John Norville off the ground, and then on the dribble called for the charge.
Yeah, either Namari's got to shoot that, or just too many unneeded dribbles right there. Too much, you know. Yeah, he's wide open right there. You see it, he has it, and then just tries to go to work and needs to get rid of the ball, but already passed up an open look. And I think, again, young freshman playing this first college game, doesn't want to come down and just shoot the first open look that you get.
But it was open.
It was.
And Chris Beard encouraging him to take that shot, not to back away from it. Red Raiders allow Massner down the line again.
Yeah,
this time the shot doesn't go. We've got a tie ball. It'll belong to Northwestern State, but we will be back in a moment here in Lubbock, where the Red Raiders are out front by 43-28, a 15-point advantage at the United Supermarkets Arena. Back here at the United Supermarkets Arena in Lubbock, it's Texas Tech and Northwestern State opening up their basketball season. The 14th ranked Red Raiders owning a 15-point advantage. Chris Beard has had remarkable success here in town.
Understatement. Yeah, I think you got to where you wanted to go so much quicker than anybody ever would have thought. Maybe aside from Chris Beard, he's always thought things like this possible, but the tandem of Chris Beard and Mark Adams, boy, they've taken this program to just new heights. That's a Dirk Nowitzki one-legged fadeaway from Micah Peavy. Maybe a shout out to Metroplex star right there, from a high school legend to the pro legend right there. That's a good-looking shot right there.
Micah Peavy has played remarkably well in his first time out as a Red Raider. Chris Beard, of course, a moment ago with 94 wins, opening up his 5th season, and 50 more wins and losses. And there's another Red Raider threat in Tomboy from outside that three-point line.
Yeah, you know, there was a time this summer you weren't sure if Joel and Tomboy was going to be a part of this program or not. Maybe he was going to go pro or do something different. But he's a stretch 4. You know, that's a young man that averaged about, what, 12 and 5 as a freshman at UNLV 2 years ago. Sat out here last year, and boy, he could help you. He just scores. You and I would come over here last year in practices, and you'd see him just light up the scout team, and they couldn't stop it. But he's not super athletic, but he just scores. It's very impressive. And but boy, that's knockdown 3 right there. Going to get Mr. Massner at the free throw line, and that's what you want if you're the Demons, man. Get him some touches, get him the ball, let him go to work.
Talking about in Tomboy, just a guy who can score. Texas Tech basketball fans will remember some success back in the days of James Dickey with Jason Sasser.
Yeah.
Sasser didn't have a great looking shot, but you look up at the scoring sheet after the ball game is over, and Sasser might have 20 points.
It just went in.
Just played hard. The ball just went in. It's the best way.
Played below the rim, kind of thing. Not a great athlete, nothing like that, but just won, and it went in. Old man game.
Nice look by Kyler Edwards, wide open shot, and Edwards gets it to go down.
The Red Raiders now shooting about 60%. And you're gonna play some good basketball when everything you throw up goes in at a 60% clip.
Massner looking for a teammate, finds Zelen Baba on the runner, but it's not going to go. And Terrence Shannon's got a rebound, and Kendall Coleman, a true freshman, reaches around to pick up a foul, and that'll put Shannon at the free throw line, where the Red Raiders are 9 of 12 in the first half of this ball game, and are trying to run away from the Demons right now.
When I was growing up, my coach used to get real frustrated about that play right there, because he'd say, just run to the other end. You're not stealing it. I mean, it is. It's almost like you just don't want to have to run all the way to the other end. You just like, let me get something cheap here. But rarely does that work when you contest a rebound, when somebody's got it secured like Mr. Shannon did right there. Coleman with kind of the cheap one that he picks up right there and puts Mr. Shannon at the free throw line, knocks down the first one.
Fouling almost 90 feet away from the basket.
Yeah.
That's not one that goes over well in the film.
Just run to the other end.
Couple more for Shannon, who is the first player in the ball game into double figures, now with 11. Red Raiders up 52-29 with 2 minutes to go in the first half. Here's Teasitt back in the ball game. This guy will shoot it quickly, and Roberson not there for him. And Kyler Edwards. Red Raiders have a lot of people who can bring that ball up the court in a hurry. McClung 3. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he steps into that. That was pure from the time it left his hand, and he has been on tonight. 4 of 6 from the field. He's got 12. And, you know, well, you think about it, John, like last year, Jemias Ramsey, really the only guy that could create for you. Now you look around at this Red Raider team, and while undersized a bit, there's 5 or 6 guys that can create and beat you off the dribble and get you a basket if you need it. McClung being one of those.
And certainly at this point, long way to go in a season, but all of Chris Beard's talk about how this team can shoot the basketball looks like he was accurate.
59%. Texas Tech 20 of 34 from the field in this one.
They'll take that every night out. Coming up on 1 minute to go in this first half. Piece can't find an opening with McClung on defense. Zell Baba got Burton in the air but couldn't get a shot. Here's Coleman, the freshman, in and out, and Santos Silva for the Red Raiders. You've got McClung, Burton, Micah Peavy in the corner on the far side. Kyler Edwards. Here's the transfer from Virginia Commonwealth. What a move. What a spin move by Santos Silva.
Yeah, and you know, the Texas Tech is going to play through the post a lot more than normal because of somebody like Santos Silva. As Micah Peavy tries to take a charge, no call. Surprised the officials didn't make a call one way or the other. No block, no charge. Just let him go.
Looks like within 30 seconds of the first half, we put the whistles away and y'all just run that clock down. So Red Raiders trying to set this up. 9 seconds to go before halftime. Here comes a pick by Santos Silva. McClung looking for an opening and it finds it but can't get it to go. And the Red Raiders can't get a bucket there as time expires in the first half, but they got plenty of them as they go to the locker room in that first half. Chris Beard and Mark Adams, the defensive mastermind of that Red Raider program. The Red Raiders a near 30-point lead, 57-29 over Northwestern State here at the United Supermarkets Arena in Lubbock. You're watching some Big 12 basketball on ESPN+. Here at the United Supermarkets Arena in Lubbock, season opener for Texas Tech's Red Raiders under the guidance of Chris Beard. Mike McConaughey and his Northwestern State Demons trailing by 57-29. Chris, what stands out to you in that first half, numbers-wise?
Well, I think you see the battle on the glass right there. We touched on it a second ago, but 28-13, it's a plus 15 advantage for Texas Tech, and that's where Northwestern State really needed to compete, to have a chance in this game. That's how you upset folks. You hit threes and then you rebound the basketball, and 2 of 12 from behind the arc, and that's why you see the deficit here. The points in the paint, so you see the rebounding battle right there. That equals so many easy buckets for Texas Tech, again, with some of those second chance opportunities. And then the Red Raiders did not turn the ball over hardly at all in the first half, just 4, and able to turn those into quite a few points. The points off of turnover, 17-3 in that first half. But yeah, again, we touched on it earlier, but get Master some touches. Get Roberson. He needs to get hot right now. He's not going to pass up any open looks, but you cut into this lead a little bit at a time if you're Northwestern State, and if you're Chris Beard, you want to see your guys come out and keep the foot on the gas right there and go on another 14-1 run to begin the half like you ended the last one.
Game of runs.
That's exactly right. And boy, both of these teams, I was curious early on with the pace, because this is what Northwestern State wants to do. They run the secondary break. They want to get the ball up the floor, get a shot up quick. But boy, this is not a Texas Tech team that you want to run against. A lot of times Texas Tech very good. And 2 years ago, this was a Red Raider team that was really good as the game slowed down. They could execute in the half court. This particular team really wants to get out and run, and they go about, 9-10 deep. That if they shoot it at a 60% clip like they did in the first half, this is not a group you want to let get out on the floor and run. You'd want to slow it down and try to play in the half court and try to punish them with their lack of size.
A lot of guys on that Red Raider squad who can bring the basketball up the court, and that certainly helps you to get out and run. Red Raiders will have the basketball to get this second half underway. Kyler Edwards, Marcus Santos Silva, Terrence Shannon, Micah Peavy, and Mac McClung. That's your starting lineup from the opening of this ball game. C.J. Jones, Jamari Gregg. Oh, wow, they're going to try the alley-oop to McClung, but Peavy left it a little bit short, and Northwestern State's got the basketball. That's Master in the corner. They need to get him going, and now the Red Raiders fire up the charge board.
That's Peavy's. you know, he's tried to take 3 of those on the day. I think he's been successful drawing 2 of them. But that's a young man doing some of the things that allows a true freshman to come in and play. And as heralded as he is, you start doing some of those things like taking charges like that, your coaches will absolutely fall in love with you. And that is unselfish play right there.
McClung thought about it for a moment from the outside to realize he could drive right to the rack.
Yeah, went to his left. But boy, that's what the Red Raiders are missing from no Kevin McCullough too, is some of that dirty work. And Micah Peavy trying to step up as he's inserted into the starting lineup with no McCullough.
Peavy finds Shannon on the baseline, and Terrence Shannon adds to his total. 13 now in this game.
Yeah, mid-range game for Terrence Shannon. Watch Massner coming, cutting down the baseline. If there's a penetration, he's over in the corner right now.
Laurie Gregg has showed he'll shoot it from out there and make it outside that 3-point line.
James Worthy, be proud. Pick your favorite.
Played at America's High School out in El Paso. Family in the military, moved around a lot, but was player of the year in El Paso. Big guy, 6'7", 230. Red Raiders were worried about his athletic ability, but he couldn't keep up with Santos Silva there, who had 10 rebounds in that first half. Santos Silva might wind up with a double-double in his first game as a Red Raider.
He's just a really good college basketball player. Again, kind of a tweener, however you want to describe that. I tell you who he kind of reminds me of from Pitt a couple of years ago. You know, they had a kind of a tweener too, but he's somebody, and the name just escapes me. It's like I'm about to say it escapes me, but he is somebody that is just, he's good with his leverage, good with angles, and you know, it's fun to watch him go to work on the block. But yeah, this Red Raider team out and running right now from Northwestern State. You may want to, you know, it's not their game, but they may want to slow up the pace a little bit.
Offensive show in the first half, and I think Mark Adams talked to the team at halftime. The Red Raiders defensive coordinator, and steal there by McClung ends up in the hands of Peavy on the dunk. Jones tried to get inside, turned it over again, and here's Mac McClung. Look out below. Wow. Only 6'2", but he has some ups.
Yeah, going to be a timeout. And again, you want to start the half on a run like you ended the first one. There's a 6-0 run right there to begin.
Back-to-back breakaway dunks for the Red Raiders. It's 67-32 here in Lubbock. Back with more in a moment. Marcus Santos Silva will get a break by Chris Beard, but I tell you what, a big part of this Red Raider lead. Chris, at the moment, he's got 10 rebounds. Northwestern State's got 13 as a team. He's been awfully busy.
Yeah, and the name that I was trying to think of a while ago, DeJuan Blair, is who it is. But, you know, he's got 10 boards, but 4 of those are offensive boards. And that's what creates those second chance opportunities and you know, for your team. And those are monies, is what a lot of coaches will call them, because it's kind of found money. It's like we get a shot up, and then we go back and go up and get it and create another opportunity for yourself. But you know, yeah, he averaged what, 12 and 9 last year.
Pretty
Virginia
close.
Commonwealth.
Yeah, a near double-double. I'll tell you who he looks like to me. Another Red Raider who fits that description of about 6'7", 245, hard worker inside would be Darvin Ham.
Yeah, Darvin probably played above the rim a bit more.
Yeah.
You know, maybe this may be like more of a Will Flemings type if you want to go Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Will Flemings coaching some high school basketball here in town, as a matter of fact, over at Lubbock Cooper High School. Great under Gerald Myers.
Darvin Ham, the most powerful big man jumper I think I have ever seen in college basketball. That guy could get up with people hanging on both arms.
And now a guy that has his name mentioned for a next head job at the NBA level. He's on that Milwaukee Bucks staff and getting to coach the Greek Freak.
Hey, they've got a big man too.
Yes, they do.
C.J. Jones at the line for Northwestern State, where they have struggled a bit tonight, 5 of 9. Go 0 for 2 there. Chris, haven't talked about a couple of guys on that Northwestern State team, LaTerrence Reed and John Norville. LaTerrence Reed's grandfather is Carlos Carson, a member of the Kansas City Chiefs Hall of Fame. John Norvell has an uncle who played football at UTEP, got drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs have a lot of fans in the Lubbock area these days.
They do. Pat Mahomes, or Patrick, I should say.
Yeah, we don't get his mom calling us.
Yeah, and LaTerrence Reed is somebody that will really help this Demons team this year. You know, he obviously missed most of last season, only played in 5 games, had a knee injury, but boy, he can really shoot it. You know, he's somebody that he's in range when he kind of gets across half court, but he's probably still figuring things out as he comes back after not playing most of last year. We're all trying to figure things out, let's be honest, with the world in general, right?
Yeah. McClung didn't get the big highlight follow dunk, but he'll be at the free throw line to try and add to his totals tonight. He's got 17.
If you look up confidence in any sort of dictionary or otherwise, Mac McClung's name is right now. I mean, that's just yeah, that's just how he carries himself. Missed the first 4 shots, the 5th one's going in. I mean, that's how he operates. He has had quite the
debut.
No doubt.
All right, bombing away. Jairus Roberson not there. Red Raiders will have another chance. Santos Silva back in the ball game. Joel Ntomboy's got a 3 in the game. Passed one up there. Burton, Wichita State transfer, and Santos Silva getting pushed around underneath by Jovan Zelenbampa from Kfar Bloom, Israel, where quite a basketball hotbed.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And by the way, his father played for Mike McConaughey at Bossier Parish Community College. I would suspect that might have a role in his attraction to Northwestern State.
After this game's over and we go have dinner or something, I want you to tell me all about the basketball capital over there in Israel, known as Kfar Bloom.
Not a particularly large city, but a lot of basketball played out of there.
Baskets are still 10 foot.
I think I heard that in a movie one time.
Yeah.
Oh, they would have been happy in Kfar Bloom, but Zelenbampa shot in and out. New shot clock for the Demons. We are on the short end of a 71-32 score. C.J. Jones creates.
Yeah, that's more of his game right there than those spot-up threes, but penetrating into the lane, and in addition, they're trying to finish the floater.
His father, a coach at the collegiate level. Here's Namari Burnett, still looking for his first bucket as a Red Raider, and there's some creation.
Yeah, he wanted to break the seal on that. He had shooters in the corners, but and there's LaTerrence Reed right there in the corner. That's what we just talked about. I mean, he's somebody that he can fill it up from deep. It will certainly help this team this year as the Demons get going. And the Red Raiders are back at it, John, on Friday right after lunch. Got a big holiday tomorrow, but the Red Raiders be back at it playing Sam Houston State at 1 o'clock on Friday. Quick turnaround.
Lunchtime and then a matinee ball game. And then play again on Sunday. So a very busy start for Chris Beard's 14th ranked Red Raiders.
Well, delayed start to the season. You know, this season in normal conditions would have been 2 weeks or so. And you know, Texas Tech was supposed to be in Brooklyn this week at the Barclays Center. But because of the delayed start, only 27 games as opposed to the normal 31. Once it starts, you're going to start reeling them off here. As long as these games get played, you know, you look around the Big 12 today, and some of those, I think the game between Oklahoma and UTSA in Norman canceled earlier today. So you're thankful that you're seeing basketball right now, for one thing.
Northwestern State at the free throw line when we come back. Right now, Red Raiders up 73-37 over the visitors from Louisiana. Just over 14 minutes left in this ball game. Number 14, Texas Tech out front 73-37 over Northwestern State. By the way, those Northwestern State University Demons will be facing Louisiana Monroe, the Warhawks, Sunday, December 6th at 2 o'clock. That is back home for them. Watch it on the Big 12 Now network on ESPN+. Tickets for that ball game can be purchased at nsutickets.com. Chris, Northwestern State, Red Raiders aren't the only tough opponent these guys are going to see this season.
Well, there's a Texas Tech connection with their very next game, as they'll play UT Arlington up next this weekend, and that game I believe in Ruston, Louisiana. But that's coached by a guy that was on Chris Beard's staff right now, Chris Ogden. UTA and Oklahoma State actually played earlier today. UT almost pulled off that upset. Fell to Oklahoma State by 7. Cade Cunningham, the heralded freshman for Oklahoma State, goes for 21 points. But yeah, the Gonzaga Bulldogs, the #1 team in the country, putting the most. We're supposed to be on Texas Tech's schedule in Phoenix this year, but it's Northwestern State that will play Mark Few's team. It's like December the 21st, almost the exact same date that the Red Raiders were supposed to play.
Yeah, when the season got shortened and a lot of rescheduling took place, the Red Raiders lost that Gonzaga game, and Northwestern State picked it up. They've also got TCU on their schedule, so a chance to see some teams out of the Big 12 for them. Red Raiders will see 5 teams out of the Southland conferences in this non-conference portion of their year.
One on Friday again, and then Abilene Christian will be here in a few weeks. I love it. Yeah, that Gonzaga game would have been fun. It's actually, I think, been pushed back between Texas Tech and Gonzaga to next year. It'll be the Saturday before Christmas there in Phoenix, neutral site game. But Northwestern State going to head up to Spokane and take on Gonzaga this year.
Yeah, they've got a heck of a road trip that is part of. Boy, nice look by Kyler Edwards to Micah Peavy.
Well, and Texas Tech playing some really unselfish basketball today, have not turned the ball over. Mike McConaughey, you may see at the top of the screen there, they're going to put it's going 5 in, 5 out here. Let's sub everybody in, and I think that's and Chris Beard's already played everybody he's got available to him in this game. But yeah, playing this well, shooting it this well, but not turning the ball over. Just 5 turnovers for the Red Raiders, and you've played what, 27 minutes of basketball here. That's got to be something that he's very excited about, to have this many weapons and this many creators and all that, and not anybody being careless with the basketball. 25 of the Red Raiders points off turnovers of Northwestern State, and those Red Raiders with only 5 turnovers. That only 3 points has Northwestern State been able to score off those turnovers. Great rebound by Santos Silva, and that is going to put him into a double-double. 10 points in the ball game now and 12 rebounds. What an opening night for the transfer from Virginia Commonwealth. He almost averaged that last year. That's what he does. Going to be your best rebounder and going to be one of the top rebounders in the Big 12 Conference. He is a load. That's Robert Chugaz, whose pass is stolen by Kyler Edwards, and you wonder about the Red Raiders getting down the floor in a hurry. Yeah, Kyler, boy, yeah, he was not looking to slow down and let everybody catch up right there. Shot out of a cannon, gets middle, and with a step through right there, and almost has an and-one opportunity. You know, and under some circumstances, a 77-39 lead, you might not see Kyler Edwards in the ballgame, but you touched on this early on. None of these teams got to play an exhibition game or a secret practice game. I mean, this is the opening night for everybody, and some of these guys, you want them out there to get back in the groove. And as we've talked about, Texas Tech to play 3 games in 6 days. You want to get started and get it going the right way, and Red Raiders have certainly done that this evening. Yeah, you see the help defense on the other end, and Kyler Edwards right there, and Mark Adams, who handles a lot of the defensive things with this program, certainly will appreciate just the deflection, the steal. That's what allows you to play. If you can't guard, you can't play in this program. If you get beat middle, you can't play in this program if you don't step up and take charges. You see Coach Adams right there, and he's got such a great relationship with Chris Beard, and boy, it works. Those two together work, man. The yin and the yang, huh?
Well, when you're holding the other guys to 35% shooting, you can sit down there for a moment on that Red Raider bench.
Yeah, Coach
but
Adams.
They never stop working.
No, he doesn't relax much. But his team, this Texas Tech team, certainly playing some good basketball right out of the gate tonight. Tyreek Smith with the dunk on the dump off. And again, if he can give you some of the minutes that Santos Silva, you can't expect Santos Silva to play 40 minutes a night. There's some foul trouble issues, but Tyreek Smith has got to be one of those guys that can give you some of those dirty work minutes and with some of those putbacks, some of those rebounds. And he needs to play bigger than he is. Tyreek's just about what, 6'7".
Yeah. Got to defend McClung regardless of where he is on the floor, and if you're a big man trying to get out there on him, that's what happens.
You have no choice but to foul him. Such a quick first step. He could have gone right, could have gone left. He gets middle right there, but that first step is deadly.
He'll be on the free throw line when we return to the United Supermarkets Arena right here in Lubbock. Red Raiders pulling away from the Northwestern State Demons on opening night. Back to play here in Lubbock. The Red Raiders' leading scorer this evening, Mac McClung, trying to add to his 18-point total. Texas Tech's Lady Raiders won their opener earlier today. They'll host Houston Baptist on Saturday right here at this same United Supermarkets Arena. Tip-off for that one scheduled for 2 o'clock. You can watch it on the Big 12 Now Network on ESPN+, and tickets can be purchased at texastech.com. A couple more for McClung, who is the Red Raiders in games leading scorer with 20 points tonight. Man, that is a great start. 1 rebound, 3 assists, and 3 steals. That's
yeah.
You get that every night, you've got a chance.
Yeah, and he didn't. Don't believe that he committed 1 turnover in all of that as well. And talk about that Lady Raider victory earlier, and then back at it on Saturday. Nice to see Krista Gerlich, who won a national championship here as a player, in charge of the Lady Raider program, and nice to see them get off their season off to a hot start there. It's Vivian Gray, a newcomer, at I think 24-8. Coach Gerlich and company earlier tonight. But yeah, Mac McClung, man, this is quite the debut, John. I don't know how much more we'll see from him in the last 10:46, but his work is done as Big Larry right there, Larry Owens with the free throw miss.
His 90th career game for the Northwestern State Demons.
He is big. I don't want to go push on him down low at all.
Or have him push on you.
Exactly.
He can find a space on that baseline. Wow, Shannon.
Well, I mean, that's what's going to separate him. If he consistently can do that, well, that was about to be another run out. I think John Norvell didn't want to see the highlight film. Stop that before it got started. See, and this is, you look at, obviously Kevin McCullough not available tonight, but you look over there at that Texas Tech bench, and, Vladislav Goldin, the big 7-footer from Russia, not available. These are minutes right now. He would be in this game getting valuable experience as you have a shortened season. And you can see him top of the screen right there, just shaking hands. He's got that brace on that left wrist, but he's the height on this team. He could, he could step out and hit the 3 and all that, but we'll see when he's back in action. But these will be valuable minutes that he could be playing in right now, and could be needed in weeks, the next several weeks, as conference play starts in a couple of weeks, John.
It does. Not a lot of time to prepare for that one. Kendall Coleman a moment ago, nice recipient of a big Larry pass underneath, and there's Ntomboy again, his second 3-pointer tonight.
There's going to be times when you just you can't get it, you can't throw it in the ocean, but tonight the Red Raiders 60% from the field. Joel with his second 3 of the night.
Kendall Coleman, the true freshman out of Shreveport, runs down that missed shot, gets it back up top to T-Set. Can't find a way around Micah Peavy and gets it back over to Coleman. Not there, and that's Chibuzo Agbo with the rebound. There's another young guy.
If you want to see a good-looking shot, you know, with his form and everything like that, Mr. Agbo certainly, that's why he was recruited heavily out of high school out there in California.
St. Augustine High School in San Diego, up and under by Peavy, doesn't go. Wow, what an effort on a night when he's 7 of 10 from the field.
All around the basket for the most part.
As 14, Tyreek Smith will go to the line now. Peavy will sit down. Chris Beard talking about the effort tonight. 14 points for his 4-star recruit out of Duncanville High School in the Dallas area. Avery Benson off the bench for the Red Raiders. As Micah Peavy sat down, the Red Raiders have Avery Benson, Chibuzo Agbo, Tyreek Smith, Clarence Nadolny, and Joel Intambwe on the court. Larry Owens, John Norvell, Carvel T-Set, Kendall Coleman, Brian White for the Demons with 8:44 to play. Back to the line where he was 0 for 2 a moment ago.
Yeah, Larry Owens with a drop step right there. You know, if you're playing post defense right there, you just can't let a big fella like that get a catch that deep in the post. He buried old Tyreek Smith and going to earn a couple of free throw attempts, like you said.
Tyreek listed at 220. 6'7", 220. Larry 6'7", a bit more.
300 is what my program says. How about you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyreek needs to eat more turkey and stuffing tomorrow to be able to push around.
I think that kind of play is just physics.
Yeah, that's right.
Tell you what, though, Big Larry a couple of years ago against Oklahoma put up 16 points and 7 boards, so don't sleep on him. Red Raiders by 45. Namari Burnett. Here's Nadolny. Nice look inside to Intambwe. Oh, he reached around and hooked Big Larry to make that spin move.
Yeah, I think you see Texas Tech trying to slow it down a little bit, execute in the half court, run that motion offense.
Rare turnover. Only 6 tonight by Chris Beard's Red Raiders.
And I'd be really surprised if that's not the one thing he points to and says, you know, that this is what I was pleased about the most. Coleman above the rim, the hammer. Put back.
Nothing defensive about that. That all offense for the true freshman. Nobody blocked out on the opposite side, and Coleman got a complete run to the bucket. Here's Intambwe trying to add to his 3-point total tonight and cannot. And Coleman the rebound for the Demons. T-Set short on the shot. Intambwe the board. And Red Raiders have it again. Agbo from the corner, got it.
Yeah, it's such a good looking shot. He holds his follow through, elbows in. I mean, it's picture perfect. I don't know how many minutes he's going to get this year because there's so many guys around him that can do it too. But that young man's got a bright future ahead of him.
He can shoot it. A lot of Red Raiders have done it well tonight. 91-45. We're back to the United Supermarkets Arena in a few minutes. 91-45, Red Raiders here at the United Supermarkets Arena in Lubbock. Chris Beard is never one to not credit those who have helped this program. One of those guys, the masked man there, was certainly a big part laying the foundation for what we see on the court today for Texas Tech.
Yeah, it was part of the first 2 seasons here when Chris Beard came back and be the head coach, and Justin Gray part of that Elite 8 team. Back in, what would that have been, 2017?
17-18 season.
17-18 season. And
Keenan Evans, Zach Smith, part of that as well. Norris Odease and all of them in the cutouts around the arena. In fact,
I bet Justin Gray's over there twice, as a matter of fact.
Probably taking up a couple of seats, but Keenan Evans is by Dolly Parton over there in the seats down low to the court. Trenton Masters shot not there, and the Red Raiders. Clarence Nadolny has it.
Keenan Evans worked 9 to 5 when he was here.
Yes, he did. I'm telling you, too, had Keenan Evans not been playing with a broken foot in that Elite Eight run, the Red Raiders might have been in another Final Four.
You win the Big 12 that year. There's no question about that. Yeah. Unfortunate injury in Waco. Foot came down, and he was having to, just get some relief before those games down the stretch. It would only last about 30 to 45 minutes, and just really tried to gut through it and gave his team all he had.
And you think about that for Texas Tech, and that Keenan Evans injury was just, and he played a lot of games with an injured foot, but you've got more recently you had Tyreek Owens and his foot injury at the Final Four. Had you not had that, I mean, it's very likely the Red Raiders might have won a national championship.
Yeah, I think that's fair in that national semifinal, which were the last Final Four games that have been played, because obviously no NCAA tournament last year. Tyreek Owens, I think, and he just incredible that he was able to come back and play in the national championship game and then actually get some things done.
Yeah.
But with hardly no time to rest, that's just guts and adrenaline getting you through that.
Gave the Red Raiders a chance, and in fact, had there been an NCAA tournament a year ago, Red Raiders figured they'd be there. It would have been the third straight time. That had not happened before in this Red Raider program.
Yeah, that was very surreal being in Kansas City this past March, and I was there, and you're preparing, and you're in the middle of I was a part of a radio broadcast, and they walk out on the floor and say, everybody go home, and we didn't really understand what was happening, and then before you know it, everything was canceled, and then there were no sports for what felt like 2 to 3 months.
Quite a while.
Oh yeah, and you're about to play Texas, and you think that's kind of a play-in game for the NCAA tournament, or to get a bid and to potentially make some noise there in Kansas City. And I know this Northwestern State team, they got to win their conference tournament. We're excited to play their second game, but it just wasn't to be.
Trenton Mastner's left-handed runner goes.
It's a nice move.
Yeah.
Getting downhill, getting middle, using his left hand.
Red Raiders have not let him get going. Jamari Gregg, the only Northwestern State Demon in double figures at this point with 11. And Tom Way on the baseline, left to Tyreek Smith, and you might have heard Tyreek at halftime saying he's going to bring some exciting dunks, and he's gotten a couple tonight.
Yeah, again, dirty work guy, man. He could just hang out on a porch right there and get those dump-off passes and put them back. He certainly can play above the rim. And again, he's going to be called upon to give you some quality minutes.
Picked up the block there. He's got 7 points in the ball game, 3 of 3 from the field, and a couple of those are dunks. High percentage shots. Red Raiders turn it over. Jairus Roberson to C.J. Jones inside, and here's Mastner left alone. He can do that and does.
Yeah, and it's the turnover on the other end. And you don't, if you're Texas Tech, you don't want to end in these last 4 to 5 minutes of game time with a lot of turnovers. It's kind of like giving up a shutout. You had 6 turnovers, and then you pick up a couple at the tail end. You don't want that bad taste in your mouth and not taking care of the basketball down the stretch. All
right, coaches get an opportunity to talk to their squads. We're back in a moment. The Red Raiders up 93-52 over Northwestern State. I won a few games right here in Lubbock. In fact, Chris Beard was an assistant to Bob Knight when he became college basketball's all-time winningest coach, and he did not like turnovers either, Chris, and the Red Raiders have given it up a few times here the past couple of moments.
Yeah, 3 turnovers in the last few minutes by Texas Tech. You had 6 you know, in that last media timeout, you get to this next one, you've got 9 turnovers, and that's just going to leave a bad taste in everybody's mouth if you continue to turn it over. Joel and Tomway with the 3 ball right there. But again, you don't want to get those double digits. It just looks completely different. You probably feel a lot different about the game. And some of these young guys trying to earn more playing time and don't want to turn the ball over here down the stretch, even though this game has long been decided.
Saw that quote a moment ago from Chris Beard about being comfortable will get you beat every time. Something he picked up honestly from Bob Knight, and something he stresses with his guys early and often.
Yeah, I just think it's Coach Beard's, you know, way of trying to battle complacency. You know, it would be natural. Prime example, you win your opening game here by 40 plus to feel good about yourself and think you got everything figured it out. And I guarantee you that Chris Beard, Mark Adams, and staff will find plenty wrong to keep their team on edge, and you know, but you know, as they go along here, and that doesn't matter if you're 1-0 or 18-0. You got to remain uncomfortable. Is kind of the theme for this year's Texas Tech team.
And Tomway's shot doesn't go, but there's what Avery Benson does. That appears out of nowhere.
That's Louisville Avery Benson right there. That's exactly what he did last year in the Garden. And just a dirty work play, and you know, a second chance opportunity with the rebound along the baseline.
Kendall Coleman in his first collegiate game will get to the free throw line. Picks up the foul from Chibuzo Agbo. Bob Knight beat that Gonzaga team on the way to the Sweet 16 during his coaching tenure. Red Raiders won over UCLA and Gonzaga in back-to-back games to advance to the Sweet 16 in Albuquerque. Kendall Coleman's got 8 for Mike McConaughey's squad. That's in Tomway. Nice pass inside. Tyreek Smith can't handle it.
Yeah, you know, and that'll be lost a bit here, but him knocking down 3 threes tonight, 3 of 4 from behind the arc for Tomway, that goes a long way. Is that kind of stretch 4 with some size. There's Avery, going to be the hardest playing guy on the floor, even in a 40-point game with 2 minutes to go. Don't tell him it's time for Thanksgiving yet. He's ready to eat out here some more.
Took that ball right out of the hands of Robert Chugaz, and Avery Benson, when he's on the floor, he's on the floor a lot.
Yeah. You hear that squeaking, sound, those floor burns. That is Avery Benson.
Tell you what, he struggled at the free throw line for a guy who has been awfully good during his career, but maybe Doc Holliday didn't get many opportunities.
There's a good look at that stash, that haircut.
You know, a guy that Chris Beard wanted at Arkansas Little Rock, where he had won 30 games and gotten a couple of rounds into the NCAA tournament, but then wound up coming here by way of UNLV, and Avery Benson came here to follow the coach and has just been one of those hard-working guys that gives you all he's got.
He's a culture guy. And I said, there's a look at his haircut. Nobody's had a pair of scissors next to Avery in years, it looks like. But no, he's a culture guy. He's a program guy. He's how you want to model. And all these young guys come in here, whether it's via transfer or freshman, and they look at guys like Avery and say, this is, you know, he sets an example. Doesn't say a whole lot, but great personality and just works.
In Tomway working too, can't get the turnaround jumper to go, but that's a guy that at UNLV a couple of years ago started all 31 games of that team's season. So a guy that is used to being on the court and producing, and has tonight.
Yeah, he has.
Big Larry Owens back on the low block. Tyreek Smith trying to defend that jump hook.
Well, you're shooting in hook shots off the glass. You're not defending that when you weigh 300 pounds. Goodness.
Amari Burnett, nice look. Thought he got fouled, but they're not blowing the whistle with a minute to go.
No, I think
for that.
You got everybody now ready for pumpkin pie and whatever's on tap for tomorrow. Not stopping at all. We do have a stoppage now as John Norvell will be at the free throw line.
81% shooter a year ago. It has not been Northwestern State night from the field or at the free throw line. 9 of 17. They were much better than that a year ago. Shot 73+% there at the free throw line. Shot it well from the field as well, but a lot of that has to do with who you're playing. And tonight the Red Raiders have pretty much put the clamps on them in all phases. This is Namari Burnett, the McDonald's All-American for the Red Raiders. Agbo, the player of the year in Southern California. Avery Benson, not there, but Agbo clears some space underneath.
Yeah, cleaned up the glass. Nice block out.
That's one thing that'll get you out of the doghouse, perhaps, an offensive rebound and put back.
Yeah, and more playing time.
Nadolny saw that pass coming and ran around Larry Owens, but then ran over LaTerrence Reed on the far side. Or maybe Reed stepped in front. I believe that might be the case. Great anticipation from Nadolny, the sophomore out of a suburb of Paris, France.
You know, Clarence, he's going to make some mistakes now because he's a young player, but boy, he does play hard. And when he goes fast. So if he's making a mistake, it's 100 miles an hour. Misses the free throw there, but you know, he is not afraid. Made some plays on the road for this team last year at a time when they needed it, and you know, has a hard time stringing too many good minutes together at this stage in his career. But he once he figures it out and kind of clean up some of those mistakes, a bright future ahead of him.
Three-point rainbow is good by Zelen Baba. That's what they do in Kafur Bloom.
Kafur Bloom.
They are big on the three-point shooting, and that's going to wrap it up tonight. Red Raiders are going to win their opener, and they're going to do it convincingly over Northwestern State's Demons. As Chris Beard will speak to Mike McConaughey for a moment, but in the interest of not trying to spread the COVID virus, we'll fist bump and a lot of pointing to say have a good season. I think a lot of that's what's going on, but the Red Raiders tonight get 5 players in double figures. Northwestern State does not manage that tonight. Nice game by Jamari Gregg for them though, but the Red Raiders 5 in double figures, and they win tonight in their season opener 101-58.
Yeah, and you know, it was a low turnover game for Texas Tech too, and boy, 31 points off of those turnovers, but yeah, very efficient from a Red Raiders standpoint tonight offensively.
I think that's the way to put it, and they do play well on defense, forcing 16 Northwestern State turnovers. You're watching Big 12 basketball right here on ESPN+. More to come.